The sun is shining and we are back for We Have Fun F1 Tier 2 and their 5th round of the season in the beautiful country of Belgium. We're at Spa-Francorchamps, the longest circuit on the Formula 1 calendar, but one that also holds the record for the shortest ever race. Back in 2021, the race was called off due to rain after just 3 minutes and 27 seconds, which also handed George Russell his maiden podium. It's a legendary venue with some iconic racers to boast. Who can forget back in 1988, the Jordan 1-2, the 13-car pile-up on the run down to Eau Rouge on this very straight in fact, and then Michael Schumacher smashing into the back of David Coulthard as he went to lap the McLaren, then storming down the pit lane to confront him. And here's a look at the circuit itself, just over 7 kilometers in length, 19 turns, 2 DRS zones, and of course the iconic sequence through Eau Rouge Radion and down the Kemmel Straight, where as always we pay tribute to Antoine Hubert and Alano von Toff.
Hello all and welcome here in to round 5 in the Tier 2 WHF Championship. You're joined by me, WHF Aro, for solo comms tonight, and we're here in Belgium. The constructors, I believe, is led by the AlphaTauris. Dynamic Duo goes quickest with a 42.2. Brilliant lap there. But can Zampa convert on this very quick lap time as it stands? Zampa coming across the line. It's P2, less than 300ths behind first. Mega lap there from the Red Bull of Zampa, and look how close this field is. I am rubbing my hands together, trying to improve massively here. The checkered flag has fallen. I think Zampa's not going to get another lap in. Charisma now jumps up to P10. Meanwhile, who's across the line next? We've got a McLaren of Callum, half a second up. Can Callum go on pole here? Callum with a 41.9 goes pole. I completely forgot about Callum, to be honest. He was further down than the top 6, and now Callum all the way up to pole. Mega improvement now. Dobo around next, following Dasher across the line. Dasher doesn't improve. Dobo up to P2. Lovely lap there. Meanwhile, we've Josh, who doesn't seem to be improving. We do have Dynamic Duo rounding the final corner, who's 2 tenths up here. Can he go pole in the AlphaTauri? He does with a 41.8. Mega lap there from Dynamic Duo. The Salmon goes up to P5. Ranga coming round next, 2 tenths up on his lap. This could be a mega qualifying here. GB Sanderson coming around next. I wonder, is Coda improving ahead of him? Coda crosses the line, doesn't improve. GB all the way up to P2. He's 100th off. He's 100th off. Ranga 2 tenths up. Where can he put his Aston? Ranga up to P4. What absolutely amazing qualifying there. Dynamic Duo on pole by 100th.
So on the back of the closest qualifying session of the season so far, here is your grid for today's race, and Ravage grabs pole by just 100th of a second from GB Sanderson, with Callum just over half a tenth back in P3. Ranga lines up 4th on his Tier 2 debut, then Dogo and Zampa are separated by just a tenth of a second on row 3. Just 2 thousandths back from Zampa to Salmon in P7, and Joshi doesn't get pole for the first time he's raced this season. He lines up 8th. Fungus in 9th, Charisma in 10th, still yet to beat his teammate in qualifying this season, and then Cthulhu beats his new teammate Coda to P11. On row 7, Dasher lines up 13th in his first race of the season, with Newsomatics Haas alongside him. Friggy starts on 15th, with King Kai making his debut from 16th, and Dubsy did not set a time.
We're gonna go over to the grid now and have the 5 red lights on, and they're out. Although the drivers are only revving up their engines now. Who will get away well here? Dynamic Duo on the inside of GB into turn 1. Dynamic Duo's got a good start here into turn 1. GB has to leave some space for Callum on the inside as there's an Alpine ghosted. There's an Alpine really ghosted, and I think that might be Dobo struggling with connection. Meanwhile, Zampa out, and there's a VSC immediately. That's Cthulhu. Cthulhu all the way back now. I don't see any damage, but I do believe that that's Charisma Unfortunate for Charisma. That is big damage for the Red Bull.
Ah! Oh, my mode setting.
What did you do?
I was meant to click ERS, I clicked my mode and my wheel up.
Whenever we go green flags, everyone make sure you stay under the delta. We do not want any drive-thrus here. And I do believe we've gone green flag racing and no one has got a drive-through, so that's great to see. GB now on the rear of Dynamic Duo. Friggy and Dasher have retired into Blanchimont. Both of them out. Friggy and Dasher out here on lap 1. And there's a safety car and everyone piling into the pits already.
The green flags, VSC ending, wait for the greens. Are you okay? That was a big one. Confirm you're okay, please.
On average. He's had a good start there. Actually no he hasn't, only half a second.
You know what he's got. Oh, nearly binned it.
Zampa had an issue at Stavolo, which allowed the Williams through. Meanwhile, Spared Fungus now round the outside of Zampa. Big crash between Zampa and Spared Fungus. And Zampa now. Oh, and there's a massive crash. Cthulhu in the background. There's another safety car. I can't even see what's happening.
What is this guy doing?
What are you doing?
So my tyres have been eating up more than.
Just sliding around corners more, aren't you? Because you got less downforce.
Dude, I've got so many clips of what's happened. I mean, you don't need the stream.
Oh, I've got a broken front wing.
Oh my
it
god, my
says.
controller just disconnected out of nowhere. That's worrying.
Josh is going to stay out here on the mediums. We will see, is that the move? Meanwhile, Ranga's probably going to stay out here as well. Ranga already boxed.
I don't really know what to do, so I'm going to put on another set of mediums just to make this strat a bit easier, because I think there'll be another safety car.
And can Josh replicate what he had in Hungary? Will he get another win here? Although Josh and Zampa are going to need to pit here as we head on to lap 7. Meanwhile, GB immediately ahead of Dynamic Duo, but now Dynamic Duo with the switchback, they're going to head into a Rouge side by side. The Ferrari and AlphaTauri go. The AlphaTauri has to concede the position. Meanwhile, Pneumatic struggling here, which may open the door to GB Sanderson, who's going to get through now into P6 on the inside of Pouon. And Pneumatic now looking for the switchback, but can't find a way through his Dynamic Duo now. Trying to get through on Pneumatic as, oh, there's contact between Pneumatic and Dynamic Duo there. And Zampa now has Ranga on the outside. Very risky place to go side by side. Through Blanchimont now into bus stop. They're gonna go. Ranga on the inside, Zampa on the outside. Zampa tries to brake later. Zampa goes very deep. A little bit of contact with the Salmon. The Salmon trying to find a way through. Big contact here. Charisma trying to look for a way through as well. Charisma on the inside of the Salmon. And into turn 1 they go. The Salmon has to concede the position here. Meanwhile, GB on the inside of the Salmon as well.
Oh, hi, GB.
GB looking for a way through on the Salmon. Yellow flag out. That Spared Fungus has retired because he's hit the pit entry. Welcome in onto this VSC now. We just need to make sure no one gets a drive through. And Ranga's picked up a drive through. Ranga and King Kai have picked up drive-throughs, and that is heartbreaking. Who will get the good run? Callum gets a lovely run. Meanwhile, GB round the outside of Charisma, and GB may even look on the inside of Zampa. He sends it in. Big send from GB, but it goes deep. It goes deep. and rejoins, but did he go off track? Zampa now side by side with Callum. Zampa on the inside, Callum on the outside in the McLaren. Side by side they go. What battling here is there's another yellow flag out for a Haas. Meanwhile, Zampa loses out here and losing the rear massively. Goes very defensive as Dynamic Duo around the outside of Perron. Oh my word, what racing. The Salmon trying to find a way through. Dynamic Duo got through on both of them. What a move. Look how close this racing is. This is one of the best Tier 2 races I've ever commentated on. Oh my word.
Right, I'm burning battery. I'm going to try and get both. It might just be one.
Oh my god.
I mean, go.
Yeah, I'm going to take it. Oh, I've gone very deep.
Oh.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm on your outside cookie.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh no.
Brilliant. Nice move.
Ah, no, Callum. That's backfired, sorry.
On the rear of Zampa. Zampa locking up a little bit, going straight on. Will Dobo get the run on Zampa? Dobo with a lovely switchback. Can he get the traction out of the final corner now? Dobo now into P6. Lovely move. Up Eau Rouge through Radion. Callum's going to get a comfortable move now on GB. Does Callum have the pace though to escape from GB? We will see. Callum, it would be his first win of the season, has 2 P2s. Unfortunately, with connection, could not make, as there's contact between Dobo and the Salmon here. As Zampa looking for way back through as well. Maybe lap 13, Josh will come in. Josh now losing the rear, and Josh does come in now for the softs. And Josh does have time though to use those softs. Meanwhile, Zampa as well, on the mediums here, will have to come in again. Has not boxed yet, has not did his mandatory pit stop. As you can see, Josh now will be exiting onto the hards. Meanwhile, GB back through into the lead. We haven't got a great camera angle here. Meanwhile, Zampa going to get back ahead of the Salmon. Callum now on the rear of GB. GB's losing the rear a lot here. Callum looking on the inside. GB trying to defend here from the McLaren. But also Dynamic Duo could have his first podium on the cards. Meanwhile, the Salmon all over the gearbox of Zampa as they head through Radion. Meanwhile, Callum going to get through on GB. We're going to see potentially 3 moves here, as the Salmon going to get through on Zampa. Dobo on the inside of Zampa as well here. The Red Bull loses 2 positions down the Camel Straight. Meanwhile, Dubsy now down the Camel Straight. He will go King Kai. Oh, there's big moves from King Kai here, going defensive. Dubsy now round the outside. King Kai. Oh no, King Kai in the rear of Dubsy. Contact between King Kai and Dubsy now. It'll be a tough stint, but I believe they're going to try it. Meanwhile, Josh going to head down the Camel Straight after his teammate Ranga. And Josh now on the inside goes for the move. Through Lacombe they go, and Ranga may have to concede out of turn 1. Going to head up Arouge and Radion. Can he get the run? The AlphaTauri's got a bad run through Radion, and Josh now on the outside with the DRS engaged is going to catch the Salmon. Will he find a way through on Dobo though? And Josh does get through now into P5. Can Josh make it as he goes now on the inside, which is a risky place to go for it? Through Blanchimont he goes side by side with Dobo. Last season we've seen Centrix and another driver come together side by side of Blanchimont, which caused the pit. Meanwhile, GB's coming in off the mediums.
Yeah, I'm going to box this up and just hope that the hard tyre runners also have to box, or their tyres just go off the cliff in the final few laps.
Only a puncture can make me really understand what GB was thinking going on to the softs this late in the race. Dobo's gone. What? Dobo's gone on to the softs. What? The salmon's gone under the sauce. What? And Ranga still trying to recover from that earlier drive-through. And now down to P8, the Aston Martin falls. And Josh now down the Camel Straight with the DRS. Needs this position as early as possible. And on the inside, the Aston Martin now gets the move done on Dynamic Duo. And Josh now needs to use those much fresher hards now. Meanwhile, there's a yellow flag out. It's King Kai out at Stavolo. Now, King Kai should still score points. He should still classify, I would think. And through bus stop, the McLaren goes. And Callum will get his first win of the season in Spa. Lovely win there for Callum. Followed by Josh, who will be jumped by Dynamic Duo because of penalties. GB Stannerson in P4 will get the fastest lap, but Charisma now coming across the line will lose out to Dobu and the Salmon surely due to penalties. Dobu into P5, the Salmon into P6. It was Ranga jumped all the way up to P6. Big jump there from Ranga.
So penalties do have some effect, but not on your winner here today. It's a calm and composed drive from the McLaren of Callum, who gets his first win of the season and becomes the 4th different winner in the first 5 races. Ravage and Joshi complete your podium. And a look at the rest of your top 10. GB Sanderson is 4th with the fastest lap after pitting late on to serve his mandatory tyre requirements. Dobbo in 5th, Ranga recovers from his drive-through penalty to get P6, and for the first time this season, both Red Bulls are inside the top 10. Elsewhere, Newtomatic P11, Dubsy P12, King Kai is classified as 3 laps down and gets 4 points on debut, and then there were 4 retirements: Spare Fungus, Cthulhu, Friggy and Dasher. That means in the driver's standings, GB extends his lead to 24 points at the top, whilst Ravage closes to within 2 of 2nd place Dobo. Salmon overtakes Fungus for 5th place after the Mercedes did not finish. Joshi is up to 7th, and both Red Bulls in the top 10 at the expense of Dubsy. That means in the Constructors' standings, AlphaTauri grow their lead over Ferrari from 11 to 28 points. McLaren climb to 3rd after Callum's win, with Mercedes replacing them in 5th place. Aston Martin go from the bottom to P8 after Joshi's podium. And Haas now sit at the foot of the table after losing Knackercracker's points. Spiring Jewel is announced to replace him for the remainder of the season. 1 race to go before Tier 2 have their mid-season break, and a test in front of the Tifosi await our drivers at Monza next round. Make sure to follow us at twitch.tv/WeHaveFunF1 for all of the live races, and subscribe right here on YouTube for extended highlights.